Have you heard the legendary name Moremi Ajasoro as told by our forefathers? Her story is one of covenant, love for her people, and great sacrifice. Moremi was a queen in Ile-Ife, a land known as the cradle of the Yoruba people. She was not just beautiful, she was brave, wise, and determined. In those days, Ile-Ife lived in fear. Mysterious raiders attacked without warning, burning homes, stealing men, women, and children. They looked like spirits, covered in grass and masks, and no weapon could stop them. The people believed they were gods, punishing them for unknown sins. But Moremi did not believe in fear. She refused to watch her people suffer. She knew there had to be a way to defeat the enemy. One evening, she sat in the palace courtyard, looking at the marketplace. Women pounded yam, traders argued over prices, and children ran barefoot in the dust. But Moremi's heart was heavy. She had seen too many mornings like this, peace before destruction. Then, as the sun dipped, she heard it. Boom, boom, boom. The distant sound of war drums. There is fear in the air. Moremi stood on the palace balcony, staring at the sky. The air was too still, too quiet. And that was when she knew they were coming. Moremi refused to sit back and do nothing. If the men could not fight the enemy, then she would. That night, she walked to the Esin River, knelt by the waterside, and whispered a vow. If you help me defeat the enemy, I will give you my greatest treasure. The river was silent, but Moremi felt something shift. She knew her prayer had been heard. Now, she had to play her part. Moremi allowed herself to be captured. Yes, she let the raiders take her. She walked alone through the streets of Ile-Ife, ignoring the danger, ignoring the fear clawing at her heart. Then, the wind shifted. She felt them before she saw them. The shadows, the whispering voices. Then, hands grabbed her, ropes tied her wrists. And just like that, Moremi was taken. She walked among the prisoners as they were dragged into the enemy's camp. She kept her head down, her heart pounding. The camp was deep in the forest, hidden from the world. The raiders laughed and celebrated, believing they had won again. But Moremi was watching. She saw how they removed their grass costumes at night. How they were not spirits, not gods, but men. One of the men walked too close to a torch, and in an instant, the dried grass on his body caught fire. He screamed. The others rushed to help. Moremi's eyes widened. So that was their weakness. She had found their secret. She learned their secrets, their weaknesses, and she won their trust. The leader of the raiders, a fierce warrior, took a liking to her. He made her his queen, and Moremi played her role well, smiling when she had to, listening when she needed to. But all the while, she was waiting for the right moment. One night, she fled. She ran through the dark forest, her feet bleeding, her breath sharp in her chest. But she didn't stop. She had seen too much, learned everything. She reached Ile-Ife before dawn, burst into the palace, and told the people the truth. They are not spirits, they are men. Their power is in their disguise. Burn their grass clothes, and they will fall like any other warrior. That night, when the raiders came again, Ile-Ife was ready. Torches lit the sky. Warriors stood their ground. And when the battle began, the people did as Moremi had said. They set fire to the enemy's disguises. Fire roared through the streets. The warriors threw burning torches, and the raiders' grass-covered bodies caught fire. They screamed in terror. They burned. They fell. They ran. Ile-Ife was free, and Ile-Ife rejoiced. Moremi had saved her people. Fires burned high, drums thundered, and voices sang Moremi's name. The people danced because they were free, because of her. But Moremi did not dance. She stood by the Esin River, staring into its dark waters. She had made a promise. A cold wind brushed against her skin. The water rippled, then a whisper. Moremi, it is time. Her hands trembled. No, she already knew what the gods wanted. Olorogbo, her son, her only child. Please, take gold instead. Take silver. Take anything but him, Moremi pleaded. But the gods do not bargain. Tears streamed down her face as she held her son one last time. His small hands gripped hers, his innocent eyes searching for her face, confused. She wished she could explain. She wished she could take it back, but a promise to the gods could not be broken. With tears in her eyes, Moremi let him go. And just like that, the price of victory was paid. Moremi gave her people freedom, but she lost the one thing she loved the most. Heartbroken, she left the palace, walking away from the life she had once known. The people of Ile-Ife never forgot her sacrifice. They built a statue in her honor. They told her story for generations. Moremi Ajasoro was real. She was a queen, a warrior, and a hero. To this day, her story is told, her sacrifice remembered. Great statue of her stands in Ile-Ife, and festivals are held in her name because she was not just a queen. She was Moremi Ajasoro, the woman who gave everything for her people. But was her sacrifice fair? Should one person bear such a heavy burden for an entire kingdom? If you were in Moremi's place, would you have made the same choice? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more epic stories. What if the true king wasn't born in a palace, but on the streets? What if fate chooses a nobody to wear the crown? This is the story of a young man who never wanted power, but was forced to fight for a kingdom. A story of betrayal, love, and the battle for a throne. Stay with me as we uncover the tale of the royal lookalike. In the busy town of Eldrin, a boy named Kai lived on the streets. He ran errands, cleaned stables, and sometimes stole food when he was too hungry. But Kai had something strange about him: his face. People often whispered because he looked exactly like Prince Adrian, the future king. One day, while Kai was sneaking through the market, 2 royal guards grabbed him.
"You're coming with us," one of them said. "Wait, I didn't steal anything," Kai protested.
But they didn't listen. They dragged him through the palace gates and into a grand hall. There, sitting on a golden throne, was Prince Adrian. Kai's eyes widened. It was like looking into a mirror. "Perfect," the prince said with a smirk. Before Kai could ask what was happening, the prince's advisor, Lord Merrick, stepped forward. "The prince must go on a secret mission," Merrick explained. "But if people know he's gone, the kingdom will panic. That's where you come in. You will pretend to be him until he returns." Kai gasped. "Me? But I don't know anything about being a prince." "You will learn," Merrick said coldly, "or you will fail." Kai had no choice. The servants dressed him in royal robes and taught him how to speak and walk like a prince. But nothing prepared him for the dangers of the royal court. That night, as he lay in a soft bed, there was a knock on the door. A girl slipped into the room, Princess Elara, the prince's fiancée. She was beautiful, with eyes like the ocean, and a sharp mind behind them. "I know you're not Adrian," she whispered. Kai's heart nearly stopped. I don't know what you mean." "Don't lie to me," she said. "I've known Adrian my whole life. You're not him. So tell me, where is he?" Before Kai could answer, a loud crash sounded outside. Swords clashed in the halls. "They've come for you," Elara whispered. "We need to run." She grabbed his hand, and together they escaped through a secret passage. But the palace was full of assassins. "Why do they want the prince dead?" Kai asked. Ilara's face was grim. "Because the king is dying. Whoever controls the prince controls the throne." They met up with Darius, the prince's bodyguard. But even Darius was suspicious. "If you're really Adrian, prove it," he said. Kai hesitated. I can't. They fled the kingdom, searching for Adrian. Along the way, Kai and Ilara grew close. She was brave and kind, and for the first time, Kai wished he really was a prince. But every time she looked at him, there was sadness in her eyes because she was falling for the wrong man. Finally, they found Adrian's trail, but the truth shocked them. Adrian had not been kidnapped. He had run away. He doesn't want the throne, Darius said angrily. He left us to fight for a kingdom he abandoned. Meanwhile, Lord Merrick took control of the palace and declared Adrian a traitor. Without the real prince, there was only one person who could stop him. You have to go back, Ilara told Kai. You have to fight for the kingdom. But I'm not a prince, Kai said. You're more of a prince than Adrian ever was, she whispered. That night, in a hidden stable, Kai gathered his allies. We fight not for power, but for our people, he told them. They deserve a leader who cares. Darius nodded. We stand with you, Kai. Ilara squeezed his hand. I believe in you. Thunder rumbled. The battle was about to begin. On a muddy field under a stormy sky, Kai and his loyal friends fought against Merrick's army. Swords clashed, and shouts filled the air. Kai fought with all his strength, not for power, but for the people. The battle was long, but finally, Merrick was defeated. The kingdom was free. Just then, a figure appeared. Prince Adrian had returned. You took my place, Adrian said angrily. Kai stepped forward. You left when your people needed you. Adrian's face twisted with anger. And now a street boy wants to take my throne? He lunged at Kai, and they fought. Blow after blow, their anger and pain clashed like their swords. I never wanted the throne, Kai shouted, but I won't let you abandon our people again. Before the fight could go too far, Ilara stepped between them. Stop, she cried. This is about the kingdom, not your pride. The noble council gathered to decide the future of the kingdom. Some supported Adrian, but many had seen Kai's bravery. Ilara stood before them. Kai fought for us. He led us when Adrian ran. The room was tense. After a long debate, the council made their choice. The people wanted Kai as their new king. As the sun rose, Kai stood before his people, not as a prince, but as a leader who had earned their trust. Ilara stood beside him, and together they promised to rebuild the kingdom with justice and hope. And so, the crown did not go to the one born to wear it, but to the one who truly earned it. Kai's journey from a street boy to a king was not about blood, but about courage, love, and sacrifice. In the end, true leadership is not taken, it is proven. What do you think? Would you have chosen Kai as king? Let me know in the comments. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more epic stories. Until next time, stay brave, stay unforgettable. Tunde was an ordinary 12-year-old boy, or so he thought. He lived in Lagos with his parents and younger sister, Tenny. He loved football, hated math, and always ran to buy puff-puff from Mama Chichi after school. Then came the morning that would rewrite everything. It started at the breakfast table. His dad reading the newspaper while his mom packed Tenny's lunch. Dad said, "Traffic won't be bad today." Buzz! A strange buzzing noise filled Tunde's ears. He frowned, looking around. Did anyone else hear that? His dad kept reading. His mom didn't react. Confused, Tunde shook his head. Maybe he imagined it. But then his mom sighed. "Tenny, I packed vegetables in your lunch." Buzz! Tenny peeked into her lunchbox and grinned. "Mommy, this is jollof rice. No vegetables." Tunde was surprised. So that was a lie. Minutes later, his dad stepped outside and groaned. "Ah, hold up, don't start." The road was packed with cars. Tunde frowned. That was weird. Then Tenny, his mischievous little sister, stuffed bread in her mouth and mumbled, I finished my homework. Buzzes. Tunde winced. There it was again, that annoying buzz. He stared at her. Are you sure? Yes, now, she said, but she quickly looked away. Later, he checked her school bag. Her homework was blank. By lunchtime, he had figured it out. He could hear lies. At first, it was fun. He tested it at school. During math class, the teacher asked, who didn't do their homework? I did mine, miss, but I forgot it at home, Deji, the class clown, said. Buzz, Tunde grinned. Liar. The whole class laughed. Deji looked shocked. All day, he kept hearing it. Small lies, innocent ones. His friend Fola said, I did my homework. Buzz, he didn't. A teacher told a student, I'll mark your test later. Buzz. The test was already marked. After school, his best friend Kunli came to him. Bro, my mom gave me 500 naira to buy snacks. Let's go buy something. Buzz. Tunde folded his arms. Your mom didn't give you 500 naira. Where did you get the money? Kunli scratched his head. Okay. I took it from my sister's bag, but don't tell anyone. By evening, he had a headache. He just wanted some hot, sweet puff from Mama Chichi to clear his mind. He was starting to enjoy this new superpower, but things quickly got serious. One evening, Tunde stopped at Mama Chichi's stall to buy puff. As he handed her money, two men stood nearby, speaking in low voices. One wore a red cap, the other a faded jersey. Tunde wasn't paying attention until one of them whispered, No wahala, we go just buy something small and move. Buzz! Tunde flinched. His pulse quickened. A lie? But why? The second man nodded. Yeah, just buy and go. No stress. Buzz! Tunde's stomach twisted. He followed their gaze and saw it. Uncle Bala's store. The small supermarket beside Mama Chichi's stall. The same store where Uncle Bala always gave him extra candy whenever he bought biscuits. Inside, the cashier was counting money, her back turned to the entrance. His breath caught. They weren't here to buy anything. They were pretending to be normal customers. But what was their real plan? He thought to himself. Tunde saw the man in the red cap adjust something in his pocket that looked like a knife. Once the cashier looks away, we move. His fingers tightened around the warm puff in his hand. What do I do? He tried to ignore it, but something about their voices made his stomach knot. The men walked away casually, but Tunde wasn't fooled. Keeping his head low, he trailed them at a distance. They stopped in front of another shop, Uncle Bala's electronics store. Uncle Bala, the man who always let kids charge their phones for free, who laughed with everyone. Tunde crouched behind a parked car, heart hammering in his chest. We'll break in at midnight, one man whispered. Nobody go suspect anything. Buzz! Tunde's breath hitched. He knew it. They were planning something bad. Then came a growl. When Tunde turned, it was Bruno, Mr. Adamu's scruffy brown dog. He stood stiff, muscles tense, eyes locked on the men. Bruno never barked unless something was wrong. His ears twitched, his hackles bristled. Tunde swallowed hard. Even Bruno could sense it. He had to do something, but what if they caught him? Who would believe him? His feet made the decision before his brain did. He ran past the puff stall, past the kiosk where kids played Ludo, past the streetlight flickering in the evening haze. He burst into his house, gasping, Daddy, Mummy, I need to tell you something. His father, who had just set down his newspaper, sat up. What is it, Tunde? I heard them, he panted. 2 men. They're planning to rob Uncle Bala's store at midnight. His mother was startled. Are you sure? Tunde nodded furiously. They had a knife, and Bruno was watching them too, like he knew something was wrong. His father stood up immediately. We need to call Chief Kola. His mother didn't waste time. She grabbed her phone and called the neighborhood security chief. Chief Kola, we have a problem. Hidden in the shadows of the street, Chief Kola and 3 security men crouched behind parked cars. The area was quiet, too quiet. Then, soft footsteps. 2 figures approached Uncle Bala's shop, their movements quick and precise. The man in the red cap glanced around before pulling out a small crowbar. No noise. We open, take the cash, and go. The other man nodded. He reached for the lock. Clang! A flashlight beamed straight at them. Stop there! A voice rang out like thunder. The men spun around, but it was too late. Security officers swarmed them, grabbing their arms before they could run. The red-capped man thrashed. Who snitched? From the safety of his window, Tunde watched, heart pounding. He had done it. The neighborhood had been saved. The next morning, Tunde strolled to Mama Chichi's stall, this time walking like a hero. The story had already spread, and everyone was talking about the boy who saved Uncle Bala's store. Mama Chichi handed him a puff-puff. Take, my brave boy, extra for you today. Uncle Bala grinned, ruffling his hair. For life, Tunde, your biscuits will always come with extra candy. His father placed a hand on his shoulder. I'm proud of you, son, but next time, don't follow dangerous people alone. Always come to us first. Tunde nodded. He had been scared, but he had done the right thing. As he bit into his puff-puff, he felt something new, not just the thrill of football or the sweetness of candy. He felt brave, and that, he decided, was the best feeling in the world. The next day, Tunde returned to school feeling different. At lunch, Deji tried to take 2 meat pies instead of 1. When the lunch lady asked, Did you already take one? Deji grinned. No, ma. Buzz, Tunde sighed. He tapped Deji's shoulder. Bro, just return it before she catches you. It's not worth it. Deji hesitated, then laughed. Fine, fine. He put 1 pie back. In the evening, at home, Tunde heard another lie. Tenny, did you brush your teeth? Their mom asked. Tenny, sipping her Capri Sun, nodded quickly. Yes, mommy. Buzz. This time, instead of calling her out, Tunde smiled and handed her a toothbrush. Go and try again. Tenny pouted, but took the brush and stomped to the bathroom. At dinner, as they sat around the table, Tunde's dad smiled and said, I'll take you to the stadium this weekend. Buzz! Tunde narrowed his eyes. Daddy, you're lying. His dad laughed softly. Ain, what do you mean? You're always busy on weekends. You're not taking me anywhere. His mom paused mid-bite, glancing between them. This boy is behaving strange today. His dad laughed and raised his hands in surrender. Okay, you caught me, but I'll make it up to you. Next weekend for sure. Tunde simply nodded, deciding he would wait for the buzz to confirm. Tunde realized something important. The truth wasn't just about exposing lies. It was about guiding people to do the right thing. That night, as he lay in bed, he felt proud. Hearing lies wasn't his real gift. Knowing how to handle them was. And as he drifted off to sleep, he promised himself one thing. He would always use the truth to help, never just to embarrass. And that brings us to the end of the story. Knowing the truth is only the first step. The real challenge is knowing how to use it. If you could hear every lie, what would you do? Leave your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share.